Tippy time damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. Our artifact favours our Arc, Void and Strand affinities, so our Prismatic Hunter here will be able to abuse all three of them. With Transcendence we are used to some tremendous ability spam, but thanks to a rework to one of our favourite aspects and an underrated exotic, we can create that same level of spam without popping the pink. This starts thanks to the rework of the Ascension aspect. Whilst airborne, we consume our Arc ability energy to summon an Arc staff, propelling us upwards and creating a burst of energy that amplifies us and jolts targets below. One change we saw is whilst amplified, we now receive a 15% damage resist. But the significant buff comes from when we activate our Ascension. Being it uses a class charge, it will now activate the following abilities: our Gambler's Dodge, our Marksman Dodge, Empowering Dodge, and the Threaded Spectre aspect. This Ascension Jolt is going to be our main source of bolt charge, so we're going to be picking up that Flash Over mod in the artifact. At base, a bolt charge damages for 14.5k, but with this mod, it's going to hit for 55.5k. And with Dielectric, when we defeat Arc debuff targets, it's going to grant us additional bolt charges. I've chosen to run the Gambler's Dodge, so when we pop our Ascension next to enemies, it's going to refund us a melee ability. I'm rocking Threaded Spike as we want our Darkness melee ability to balance out our Transcendence bar. And as this bounces between targets, damaging and severing them, it's also going to trigger off that jolt that we just blammed down beforehand to make even more AoE damage. I'm running Bomber. This is going to reduce our grenade cooldown whenever we use our class ability. I've got 2 of them for a 17% bonus. I'm running a Grapple Melee. It's great movement, particularly as I'm using Blink, and it's going to be making us unravel particles when we smack things in the jaw. With Faceted Balance, our rapid final blows with light damage are going to grant us melee energy, and with darkness damage, it's going to feed us grenade energy. This is primarily for that bonus grenade charge, as in large part we've got melee taken care of thanks to Gambler's Dodge. Now the next game changer here is the rework to Radiant Dance Machines. Now these were S tier for some time during very niche damage phases, but they weren't overly popular amongst the community as a whole, and I think this rework actually works quite well across the board. Its perk is the dance. It'll moderately increase airborne effectiveness, hipfire, mobility, range and accuracy for weapons that use primary ammo. This makes it a lot easier to shoot my weapons whilst I'm either swinging from my grapple or bouncing up in the air from my Ascension. Also, our final blows with primary weapons are going to return dodge energy, and we can overflow this to create additional charges. So now we can stack up to a max of 3 dodges, which means I can bounce around in the sky with 3 Ascensions dropping down jolts and throwing severs out. With an abundance of class ability, we don't always need to use that Ascension. We can also rope in some dodges. I've got a Reaper mod here, so when we do a dodge, we get a weapon kill, we make ourselves an orb. But truly the best way is to just abuse that Ascension. We pair this with the Threaded Spectre aspect. These Shadow Clones got a lot tankier, so they distract quite hard now. But the best thing they've done by comboing these 2 aspects is that it allows us to put clones in the sky. Now a lot more enemies take note of them, making yourself almost invisible to all surrounding enemies. This is going to give us ample time to get in there and mix their shit up. Now whatever your favourite primary weapon is, it'll work well on this kit, but I've been favouring that Lodestar primary ammo trace rifle. It's in the energy slot, aimed outsides for more damage, and that hipfire mode with that alt reload to jolt, on top of which it's an arc weapon, so it's going to help build those stacks of bolt charge. We've got overclock and load in the artifact. Whilst amplified, or we have a bolt charge, our arc weapons gain increased handling and reload speed. I run 1 arc siphon on my helmet, and I'm going to be running 1 heavy-handed mod so I can make orbs from either my Threaded Spike or my Grapple Melee. These orbs of power can do a couple of things for us, primarily with Faceted Purpose. This also got a rework, so now when we pick up an orb of power, instead of giving us amplified, it's going to give us a stack of bolt charge. We'll need to run that Storm's Edge super, but it's still all good. With Faceted Hope, whilst we have an elemental buff, our class ability regenerates more quickly. As Ascension amplifies us, this is going to be a very quick turnaround thanks to a 60% class ability regeneration rate. I'm mega vibing the call again. It's Strand, it's going to break our anti-barriers. We've got that Unraveling Orbs perk in the artifact, so when we pick up an Orb of Power or a Tangle, it's going to grant us Unraveling Rounds. A couple of attacks with this, it's going to unravel a target, and then with Horde Shuttle, when we damage an unraveled target with a weapon, it's occasionally going to spawn a Threadling. Another option, say we've got to deal with unstops, I run the Scatter Signal Strand Fusion in that same slot, and that's got both Slice and Controlled Burst. So good DPS, on top of which I can use Slice more regularly, as I've often got dodges to burn. So as we've got a Strand Melee, a Strand Grenade / Melee, and with all those unraveled particles, severed targets, and Threadlings roaming the battlefield, we use Faceted Courage, so our arc abilities are going to deal increased damage to targets affected by darkness debuffs. This is going to make our Ascension Jolt and our Bolt Charge hit 10% harder. To round up our green, blue and purple rainbow, I'm rocking a Void Hammerhead LMG. We've got Volatile Marksman in the artifact, our Rapid Void Precision Hits and Rapid Void Weapon Final Blows are going to grant us volatile rounds. This is great for more DPS focus as we don't need kills to activate it. I pair this with Hold the Line, so while surrounded, our machine guns are going to gain increased reload speed and stability, and Final Blows are going to heal us, meaning I can finally use my Surrounded and Rampage one without having to worry about those extensive reloads. Of course, we've got Faceted Protection. This is going to give us a bonus 15% damage resist whilst surrounded, and that's on top of that 15% whilst amplified, and whilst transcendent, this jumps even higher to 32% DR. Our last fragment is a bit of a free choice. I've chosen to go with Facet of Awakening. It gives us plus 10 resilience, and whilst rapidly defeating either targets with light or dark damage or super final blows, it's going to generate elemental pickups. With all those jolts and bolt charges getting laid out thanks to our Ascension, we'll have plenty of ionic traces fueling all our abilities. Now feel free to pause here for all my fragments, artifact and mods, but there will be a dim link in the description down below. You need to try this Ascension Shadow Cloned RDM combo. Changes like this one is the reason I keep coming back to Destiny 2. It's fresh, it's fun, and it's brutal. I'm interested in what primary weapons you might try and pair with the RDMs. I know the Last Word and Dead Man's Tale saw some PvP nerfs, but I'm sure there are many other options out there. Hit us up in the comment section down below, make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy time at Damies, what a time.